World War II, 1939 to 1945, was the deadliest war in history, involving many countries across the world. It changed history in ways that still affect us today. While most people know about the major battles, famous leaders, and tragic events like the Holocaust and atomic bombings, there are many lesser-known facts about the war. These stories reveal the unusual, strange, and often unbelievable events that took place during this global conflict. Here are 10 surprising facts about World War II that most people don't know. 10. A German city was bombed after the war ended. Most people assume the bombing stopped when Germany surrendered in May 1945, but one city suffered destruction after the war ended. On May 8, 1945, the Czech city of Mesto was mistakenly bombed by Soviet aircraft, even though Germany had already surrendered. The attack caused many deaths and was one of the last violent acts of the war. This tragic mistake happened because of miscommunication and outdated intelligence. Even after the surrender, there were still pockets of fighting and confusion in different parts of Europe. 9. A Japanese soldier kept fighting until 1974. Some soldiers refused to surrender even after the war ended. One of the most famous cases was Hiroshi Onoda, a Japanese soldier stationed in the Philippines. He continued fighting for nearly 30 years after the war, believing Japan had not surrendered. In 1974, his former commander had to personally go to the jungle and order him to surrender. Onoda had been hiding in the mountains, carrying out guerrilla attacks on local villagers, thinking they were enemy soldiers. His story became famous worldwide, showing the extreme dedication of some Japanese soldiers. 8. The Soviet Union trained dogs to destroy tanks. The Soviet Union came up with a strange but effective way to stop German tanks: bomb dogs. These were dogs trained to run under enemy tanks while carrying explosives. Once the dog reached the target, the bomb would detonate. Soviet soldiers trained the dogs by placing food under stationary tanks so they would learn to associate tanks with rewards. Unfortunately, the plan had a major flaw. Some dogs got confused and ran back to their own troops, causing accidental explosions. Despite this problem, bomb dogs were used in battle, with some success destroying several German tanks. The idea of using animals in warfare has been around for centuries, but this was one of the most extreme examples. 7. Coca-Cola created Fanta. Because of the war, during the war, American companies were not allowed to do business with Nazi Germany. This included Coca-Cola, which was very popular in Germany. With no access to Coca-Cola syrup from the US, the German branch of Coca-Cola created a new drink called Fanta, using available ingredients like apple fiber and whey. This allowed Coca-Cola's German division to keep operating despite the war. Fanta became a popular beverage in Germany during the war, and later spread worldwide after the war ended. This is an example of how war often forces businesses to innovate in unexpected ways. 6. The US once considered dropping a bat bomb. Before using the atomic bomb, the United States experimented with another unusual weapon, a bat bomb. Scientists planned to attach tiny incendiary bombs to live bats and release them over Japanese cities. The idea was that the bats would fly into buildings and set them on fire. The project, called Project X-Ray, was tested in New Mexico. However, the plan had an unexpected problem. During testing, some of the bats escaped and accidentally set fire to a US military base. After this failure, the project was abandoned. While the idea may sound bizarre, it was based on the fact that bats naturally hide in dark places, making them effective carriers for small bombs. 5. The D-Day invasion used fake paratroopers. To confuse the Germans before the D-Day invasion in 1944, the Allies used fake paratroopers called Ruperts. These dummies were made of cloth and straw and were dropped from planes at night. The Germans, thinking they were real soldiers, wasted valuable time and resources chasing them, helping the actual Allied forces land successfully. Along with the fake paratroopers, the Allies used deceptive radio messages and other tricks to mislead the Germans about the invasion's location. These tactics were part of a larger plan called Operation Bodyguard, designed to ensure the success of the real invasion. 4. The US built a fake army to trick Hitler. For D-Day, the Allies used deception to make Hitler believe the invasion would happen at a different location. They created a fake army called the First US Army Group, which included inflatable tanks, wooden planes, and even fake radio transmissions. German spies sent reports to Hitler, who believed the invasion would come at Pas-de-Calais instead of Normandy. This mistake helped the real invasion succeed. The fake army was commanded by General George S. Patton, a well-known general general to make the deception more believable. This strategy, known as Operation Fortitude, played a key role in the success of D-Day. 3. A British soldier spared Hitler's life in World War I. Before becoming the leader of Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler fought in World War I as a soldier. During the Battle of the Somme in 1918, a British soldier named Henry Tandy supposedly had a chance to kill Hitler but let him go. Tandy was a decorated soldier, known for his bravery, but he did not shoot an injured enemy who appeared unarmed and helpless. Hitler later claimed to remember this moment and even pointed to a painting of Tandy, saying that the soldier had saved his life. While the truth of this story remains uncertain, it is a chilling thought that one act of mercy may have changed history forever. 2. The Nazis had a plan to kidnap the Pope. Adolf Hitler and the Nazi leadership saw the Pope as a threat because of his opposition to their ideology. In 1943, German forces developed a plan to kidnap Pope Pius X from the Vatican and take him to Germany. Hitler believed the Pope's influence could weaken Nazi control in Italy and other parts of Europe. The plan, known as Operation Rabat, was meant to be carried out by the SS. However, it was never executed, possibly because some Nazi officials feared the reaction of Catholics around the world. The Vatican, aware of the threat, took precautions to protect the Pope. This little-known plot highlights the Nazis' willingness to go to extreme lengths to control influential figures. 1. Japan had plans to attack the US mainland with balloons. During World War II, Japan launched an unusual weapon against the United States: balloon bombs. These bombs, called fugo, were large hydrogen balloons with explosives attached. The Japanese released over 9,000 of these balloons into the Pacific Ocean, hoping the wind would carry them to North America. Some of them actually reached the US, causing small fires and minor damage. One of these bombs killed 6 people in Oregon, making them the only casualties on the US mainland during the war. These balloon attacks were not widely publicized at the time, as the US government wanted to prevent panic. However, the idea behind these weapons showed Japan's creativity in finding ways to attack distant enemies. In conclusion, World War II was filled with surprising events, strange strategies, and unbelievable moments. These 10 lesser-known facts show how the war was not just about battles and politics, but also about innovation, mistakes, and human resilience. Even today, historians continue to discover new stories about this war that changed the world forever. These little-known facts remind us that history is full of surprises, and even in the darkest times, there are incredible stories to be told. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Your support matters. Thank you.